Another episode of the LocalBizCast over here. You guys pretty much know me by now. I am Dr. Pete. My guest today, Mr. Richard Kenny over here. We're going to get to him in just a second. Just got to do my biz. And that is, man, we are growing, and we want to go quick. We want to go fast. We want to bring this to as many people as we possibly can. So please, head over to the LocalBizCast, Spotify, YouTube Live, Apple Podcasts, and hit like and hit subscribe and come hang out. And if you do want to hang out with us right here in the podcast studio in my Montvale office, just reach out to the Dr. Pete on Instagram, TikTok, or just email me, drpete@shcnj.com, or feel free to come on by and take a look at this thing. But
it's a pretty impressive place.
Isn't it, Fred?
This is pretty wild.
Gotta George, a little shout out to you, man. I always do it every once in a while, but man, this place has been fantastic. People are loving it. We rent out the podcast studio as well, so if people are starting their own podcast, come on by. We rent out the studio. It is full. 3 cameras. I don't know where this one is. 3rd camera over there, right? 4th channel over here. We've got it all, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. All right. The business is done. Richard Kenny from Rockland. You guys already heard that as well. I'm a Rockland guy myself.
So Rockland, born and raised.
This one's going to go about an hour and 45 minutes. I hope you guys don't mind. So, yeah, go ahead. It's cop call investigations, cop call private investigations.
Yes.
Do we need to be concerned about what this is?
Well, maybe some people.
I like that.
Not necessarily you, but there are a few people out there that probably don't like me very much after what I've done in my lifetime. But, you know, if you're a bad guy and you get caught, I really just don't feel bad.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But yeah, so I'm a licensed private investigator, both in New York and New Jersey. And I've been doing this now, we're coming up to 10 years now, which is absolutely insane that I've had my own business that long. And considering I'm a blue-collar dude who never went to college, no degree, nothing.
Straight out of Clark Sound South, as you said?
South,
right to the academy?
Pretty much, yeah.
Was it easier then to get in, or was it?
No, it was different. Back those days, you know, you didn't need a college degree. As a matter of fact, to be honest, you didn't even need a high school degree. Some of the best cops I ever worked with in my lifetime had GEDs.
Wow.
You know, a lot of these guys were the Vietnam guys that, you know, when I first came on, there was still a lot of guys left over from Vietnam that were still on the job, and, you know, just old, hardened guys that, you know, learned the hard way, and kind of like I did, I guess.
Yeah, I'm about to say, is there a better way? I mean, not a better way to gain that kind of an experience. There's probably a better way to not have to go through a lot of that stuff. But
well, nowadays they make guys have to have like college degrees and stuff like that. I don't know if it makes you a better cop or not.
I was about to say,
I don't know.
That might be mutually completely inexclusive.
I would agree with that. Honestly, I always thought, you know, I think they're making a bigger deal about college than they need to nowadays.
Yeah.
I think there's certain professions that you just learn as you go, and you don't really need college.
I'm
not saying a doctor.
No, of course, but like
a fireman, a police officer, I don't really see why you need college to learn to do that job.
If college is going to start becoming $80, $90, $100, $150,000 a year, and you're going to get out and you're going to make $32,500, I just don't understand how that equates.
Math just doesn't work.
And you're wasting time in college, and you know, I'm going to probably gain some enemies here,
right. Well,
but you may be wasting time in college where you could be getting that on in-life experience. Live experience. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I came on at 21. I mean, just.
Wait a second, 21? You can't graduate high school at 21. What are you doing?
Between the two of that, I worked basically for Mercedes-Benz for.
Okay,
years,
all right.
I love to work.
Will you try to pull out of a little piece of information over here? The people want to know. They're asking.
I don't think anybody wants to know about me working for Mercedes.
You're going to see the resume. You're going to see that gap, like that 4-year gap. I got to ask about that. You know?
Sure,
all right. Mercedes-Benz.
Right.
Done.
I work for Mercedes.
Next.
Mercedes in Nanuet. Very good place.
Still there. My mother. You know what? I got a phone call from them today. So Renee, if you're listening, my friend, you're up next here. But
there you go. Great place.
Yeah.
And actually, I remember the day I actually had to resign. I walked into my boss's office and I was all terrified because you're supposed to give 2 weeks.
Right.
And,
but the academy started in like 4 days.
The academy started like in 2 days. You get the letter like you're coming in now. And that's it. That's how it works. So I was like, today's my last day. And he was like, what? I'm like, going to explain to him. He's like, oh, my God, congratulations. And he was actually very happy. He was really happy for me. He was a great boss. Warner, rest your soul. Rest your soul. And then I went to the academy at 21.
Okay.
Started on the Upper West Side. And then I always wanted to be a detective. I knew from 4 years old. I'm third generation cop, so I kind of knew I was going to be a cop. Dad was an Irish cop. Grandpa was an Irish beat cop.
You sure you weren't from Pearl River?
Yeah, exactly. It's just on the other side of the border.
There we go. Right. Bartoli, right, so.
And but then, but I, unlike my father, who was a boss and took the test and worked his way up, I had no desire to be a boss. I always wanted to be a detective. I knew I wanted to be a detective from day one. And
it really seems really cool. I mean, whatever stories you could share, I can't wait. But let's start right over there. Like, you can't just go right off the academy and go right to be a detective. You got to put your time in. Yeah,
you got to put your time in. So you do your time on patrol, and then from patrol, usually most people will do like a local precinct detail, because within the precincts they have plainclothes units as well. They have like an anti-crime. They have a street narcotics enforcement unit. They have a couple different plainclothes units. So I went to the street narcotics enforcement unit. I did that for a few years, precinct level. Then I went to actual narcotics, Organized Crime Control Bureau, and I did that for many years. I was an investigator / undercover there. I did both. They had a shortage for.
What, I got Donnie Brasco? We got Donnie Brasco. That's somebody good. Come on.
But it was fun. It was a great time. I mean, you're young. You're in your 20s.
You could pull that stuff off. Yeah.
And then from there I went to Warrant Squad, which is another plainclothes unit where we track down people wanted for warrants. The name's pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Then I got transferred to Brooklyn for particular reasons. I kind of got kicked out of Manhattan. But wound up being the best thing that ever happened. Let me tell you, one door closes, another door opens.
I'm telling you, the things just happened to me about a year ago. So, yeah, it's unbelievable. I get it. I get it.
Working in Brooklyn North, I worked with the best group of men ever. To this day, this is 30 years later.
These are your guys.
Tight. We still get together. I've been.
Where were you living at the time?
That was when I was living in New York City for a brief period of time. So working in Brooklyn, I lived in Bayside. So
all right. That wasn't too bad. I'm like, you're coming from Rockland. Is there anything worse? No offense to my Brooklyn people,
but the commute sucks.
What a freaking disaster. If you're not from in and around Brooklyn, I had an office in Brooklyn for a very short period of time. I'd be in Brooklyn, and it would still take me an hour to get there. Brooklyn's not that big.
No.
Oh, it drove me nuts. It was,
It's traffic is ridiculous.
Yeah, we were in Prospect Park, and I'm like, I'm in Park Slope. It's going to still take me an hour to get across.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And I love that. And where I worked in Brooklyn back in the late 90s was still very sketchy, to say the least. We covered all of Brooklyn North, which is the single worst borough back in those days. No offense to the people who live in Brooklyn, but crime was pretty damn rampant. You know it.
We're talking about crime, guys, all right? Let's
nothing personal.
Yeah, right.
I actually love working in Brooklyn. I love the people, so...
As you said, 30-year friendships, best people on earth. There you go.
And it was just a great time. We called it Camelot. And to this day, we still refer to it as Camelot. It was the best place to ever work. Then from there, I got transferred again, because in the police department, you constantly move around. And I went back to the 200 precinct, the Upper West Side Manhattan, where I was a typical NYPD blue detective, the guy with the suit and the tie that sits behind the desk.
There we go. Now everybody who's watching is now NYPD blue, and they remember it.
Everyone remembers that. The guy behind the desk, and that was fun too. And I did that for about 10 years, and I became a burglary detective, and I wound up being actually one of the best burglary detectives in New York City, without sounding like I'm bragging, which that kind of did, I guess. Sorry.
You're allowed to. You got to promote your business. You want people are going to want to hire some of the best, and if you've got some high-profile cases that you were doing,
I wound up being the lead burglary detective for Manhattan North whenever there was patterns and stuff like that, and it was so much fun, and that's where I got promoted. Once again, because I worked really hard and I was good at what I did, and I got promoted to second-grade detective, which is like a supervisory position.
This is what you were trying to avoid, that your father was doing. You're like, I don't want any authority here.
I was still a detective, though. So
you're still on the feet on the ground. Exactly. You still could do some work over there, yeah.
And I liked it. Actually, I loved it. And then eventually in 2010, I decided it was time to leave the department. Got a little sick of the politics and all the garbage that was going on. I had my time in rank, so I left. And then for about another 5 years, I did executive protection for one of the richest guys in America. His name was Josh Harris, the owner of the Devils, the 76ers.
Yeah, sure.
Commanders and all that, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, at the time, 2010, did he buy it then?
He just owned the Devils.
God, I was about to,
He owned the Devils, and then he went and owned the 76ers around 14 before I left. He owned the Sixers, too. And then he just bought the Commanders only a few years ago.
Sure.
After. But...
That's a nice, cool hook. How'd you get that hook?
Honestly, it was just luck.
There you go.
Luck. I put my resume in at the right time with the right person, and then I got picked. And And it was a good job. I liked working for him, but when you do executive protection and you work for these uber rich people, it's I want to say this nicely. It's they live in a different world than we do.
Absolutely.
They don't deal with reality the way you and I deal with.
Their reality is different.
Very different. I mean, a perfect example is the rule was when you only take vacation when he takes vacation, which is fine in theory.
As long as he takes vacations 24 weeks a year, right? I mean, hey.
But not even that, though. His vacations would be like, oh, I decided I'm going to Paris tomorrow.
Right. So you got to be prepared to take your vacation.
I can't do that.
Right. You taking me with you, man?
I got to plan Disney like everyone else does. I plan Disney a year ahead to take my daughter. I got to buy my plane tickets. I don't have a private plane. I don't have. I can't do that.
How many years did you do this?
I did that for 5 years.
That's a long 5. Very cool job, but a long 5 years.
A very long 5. Those 5 years are longer than my 20 in the police department.
Right. I can see that.
To be completely honest, I'm not going to lie.
I can see that.
Sorry, Josh, if you listen to this, which I doubt you are, but if you are, sorry, you're a tough guy to work for.
We got some high-profile listeners over here, all 100 and something. Come on, man. You never know. We're gonna go viral on this one, and everybody around the world is gonna see it.
Send it out. Yeah. Someone's talking smack about
right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I did that for a little while, and then after that, in 2015, I just decided to start my own firm, and I worked with a law firm for a little while I was his investigator, so that helped me get my feet going and like that. And he actually was a small business owner himself, so he actually taught me a lot about how to run a small business. And he was a great guy. Russell Yanquit, going to give another shout out.
Anytime.
He's a great lawyer in Westchester. Anybody needs him. He is a phenomenal lawyer in Westchester.
Look at this guy using his time to promote another business over here. I mean, you're a saint. This is incredible. So
if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have my own business.
Let's bring him on. We haven't had enough attorneys on over here. Let's get him on over here. What type of law? Just throw it out there.
He does a lot of employment litigation, well as a lot of other stuff, a lot of civil law.
There we go. Good. You're on. All right. That's a promotion over there. So, but now we're with you.
But he did help. The fact that he helped me start my business, and he helped me learn how to do business. Because, like I said, I'm not a college grad. I didn't take no courses, no business classes, or anything like that.
But I got to tell you, my police officer friends and my people in law enforcement seem to be really savvy with side hustles, though, right? I mean, it's really incredible.
Well, you only make $30,000 a year.
As you said, 32.5, right? You're going to have to do it.
Kind of work a little hard to
pay little roofing, little siding, maybe some windows. I don't know. You pull it over there. But, so, I mean, there's always probably, you had a street job. You learn a lot of that at street and how important that is.
And the great thing with me is being a detective, you also deal with, people directly, and you learn how to interact with people. You learn how to talk with people and communicate, and like you said, pull information out of them. You have to be good at what you do to be successful in any career, but particularly as a detective, you just got to listen a lot and pay attention. And there's a lot of small little things that most people miss. That's the key between being a good detective and a bad detective, is finding the small points.
I'm not gonna lie, I watch that stuff on TikTok, like all the ex-CIA agents and stuff like that. This is like how we think. This is how different behaviors, different things.
You have to think differently. You really do. It's a very different thought process when I arrive on a scene. A perfect example. Almost any cop you'll meet, if they go to a restaurant, the cop is sitting with facing the door. That's called situational awareness.
Sure.
Situation awareness means that you need to know what's going on in your immediate surroundings at all times, even off duty, whatever.
You can't take it out of your blood. It's in your blood.
It's just who you are.
Absolutely. You know what's going on in the kitchen. You also know what's going on in the bathroom over there. You know what's going on behind your head.
And you have to. It's not, I wouldn't say have to, but it's just ingrained.
Yeah.
It's just something that cops learn to do over time. Most cops, not all. Some cops suck.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Sure. The good and the bad in every profession.
Exactly. But it's situational awareness. Excuse me, I'm slurring.
He's only had a few drinks, I promise.
Just a couple,
we took a couple of shots.
Just need to take the edge off.
People get nervous coming. No, please.
but so that's just you learn that as you grow, and then you just use all the different skills that I have cultivated throughout my time in the police department. I was able to use them all for my own personal business now.
Amazing.
And it's great. I get to help people on a daily basis, and I get to be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. I'm sure you could agree with that part.
Who's telling you what vacations you can take now?
Exactly. I get every day off I want.
You got to fight with somebody. I see it on your finger. But
she tells me.
Exactly.
She tells me when to take a day off. She's still the boss.
That's right.
But so it's great though.
Was there a catalyst? Or was this something that you knew? Okay, all right. You said 2010 you were working. As an executive, what was that? Like
executive protection.
Protection. And then you're like, I'm going to open up my own business, or something happened. You're like,
Well,
I got a client. Yeah.
I left him, and then, like I said, then I worked for that law firm for a brief period of time as his private investigator, and then while I was there, I got licensed. I got all my certifications, everything through the law firm. Actually, kind of helped me with that part.
Another shout out again. Look at that.
Yankwit.
Come on, Yankwit. There we go.
And he was great, and I worked with him for about a year, and then after that, I just went on my own. But I learned a lot from him, and I would be grateful for him for that. He taught me how to run a small business.
Yeah.
I just try to every experience I have, I try to learn from it. Through my time in the police department, doing the executive protection, working for the law firm.
Sure.
I try to take little bits and pieces that I could use in my business life as well as my personal life, like everyone does, I believe, or should anyway. And it worked out well. And then I started my business. And honestly, for me, the hardest thing was if someone needs a private investigator, what are they going to do? How do I get people to call me?
There you go.
So I figured, what would I do? And I would go to Google.
Yeah.
So I went to Google and I created a really good website, and I threw a lot of money into my website and into my Google ads and everything like that.
Sure.
And it worked. Knock on wood, it worked. And now 10 years later, I have a fairly successful private investigation firm. I'm licensed in New York and New Jersey now. We've helped, in my 10 years, I've helped well over 200 cases.
Wow.
I've helped people, and I hope for at least another 300 more before I close the doors.
There we go. Come on, more than that. Come on, you're on the Local BizCast. Here we are now. Are you kidding me? So, what is a typical client? Who's looking for a personal investor or private investigator?
It's actually, there is no typical client.
Nothing,
actually, ironically, no, there isn't. Yes, let's get the elephant in the room.
All right, here it is.
Yes,
I'm not alluding to this.
No, but everybody does, so
sure.
I have to talk about it. Yes, there are cheating spouses. There are cheating couples that I do, and occasionally I am hiding in a bush or peeking in a window. But I also do have a lot of other cases.
Is that low-hanging fruit? Is that cool stuff, or is that like corny, whatever?
I'll give you a great example. I just wrapped up a case. Obviously, I can't tell you the name of my client. But
I sure hope not.
About it. It was a case where a gentleman suspected that his wife was being adulterous on him, and he didn't know what she was doing. She was acting very weird. She would just pick up and leave for like 2-3 days at a time and go to Atlantic City and just disappear. Leave him, leave the kids, not call anybody for 3 days, just disappear. And she was doing this on a bit of a regular basis. And he wasn't sure if she was like a compulsive gambler, if she was cheating on him, if she's a raging alcoholic, or all of the above.
Sure.
Turns out it's a little bit of all of the above.
Okay.
So we have to now go down to Atlantic City. We have to find her out of all the casinos. We got to track her down. And one of the things I do is when I have with my clients is I work with my clients. My client is my partner. They know the people I'm looking for. I don't know this person their whole life. I don't know anyone. So I need you to tell me their habits. Tell me what they do, where they go, and on top of that,
it's not just as easy as find my iPhone or something like that.
Yeah, no. A lot of people think
occasionally you could do that. I'm assuming, no.
Not as much as I would like. Believe me, I wish it was a lot easier.
Come on, you got to earn some money here. I mean, a 5-minute investigation ain't going to pay the bills.
No,
I mean,
exactly. But this one was a little intriguing. So with AC, we were able to finally find her. And on the first day, she was just gambling, a lot, but by herself. Didn't even appear to be intoxicated that we saw. On the second day, she was gambling, intoxicated, and with a gentleman. And then, we followed her. We took the photos. We found her, and they tracked them all the way up till she went into the hotel room with him.
You were not in the hotel room with her?
No, we did not get in
You're
the
not
room.
Behind the curtain.
No,
you don't have a
lampshade under the bed, nothing like that. But in this case, however, this is where the part of my job that I don't necessarily like.
Of course.
This is where it gets really crappy, for lack of a better word. The next day, I have to sit down with the husband, and I have to talk to him, and I have to show him the photos, and I have to explain to him what I found. And there's nothing worse in my job. Well, that's not true. I've in my career had to do one thing that was worse than that, and that's notify a family of a death.
Sure.
Other than notifying a family of the death, this is probably like the second worst thing I do in my job is when you literally could see the heartbreak in people's faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could just see they turn green. They're in pain. They're suffering. It's awful.
You're assuming at that point that you're just acknowledging something that they probably already know.
Oh,
Most of it is not a surprise. Hence, that's why they're hiring you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but still, the confirmation is.
Confirmation is always just the worst part, because until you get confirmation, everybody has that doubt in their head that that's just in my mind. I'm making it up.
Yeah.
And that doubt is something very strong that people hold on to, because nobody wants their marriage to end. No one wants their marriage to be. No one wants to find out their spouse is cheating on them. No one wants the heartbreak or the anger and the pain. And it's all the above. It's everything. They're angry. They're mad. They're furious. They're disgusted.
They're embarrassed. They're sad. They're depressed.
It's the whole gamut.
It's a billion emotions at 1 second, because
and it's all hitting at the same time.
Yes, exactly right.
And it's because. And while it's not because of me per se, it's because of their spouse. But this reaction is because of me, because I'm the one giving them the bad news.
You delivered it. Yep.
And it's a very sad, painful time to do that. So that part obviously I don't like. But there's a lot of great things I do like. One of the things I do is I get a lot of phone calls where I've lost touch with my child. I've lost touch with my cousin, or I've lost touch with my high school friend. Can you track them down for me? And I tell everyone the same spiel. I'll find them, I'll track them down, I will reach out to them, I will tell them that you're trying to reach out to them, because they could be a stalker. There's always a lot of people hide a lot of information. No one's going to tell you that, I got to order protection, I'm stalking. Right.
They're not so obvious with you. Yeah.
So a lot of times, I'll reach out. Let's say someone's trying to reach you. I will call you and I'll say, hi, my name is Richard Kenny. I'm a private investigator. I was hired to track you down. So-and-so is looking to rekindle a friendship with you. Is it okay if I give them your information, or would you like their information? Sometimes they're like, give them my contact. Or sometimes like, give me their number and I'll call them. Or sometimes I get that person's a psycho and stalking me. I got 14 restraining orders on them, and then I have to call the police and press charges on them.
Got it.
Because they're trying to contact them through me, and it's still completely illegal.
Right. Got it.
So there's cases where I've had to reach out to the authorities.
All right.
And, but I just find it's safer to make the phone call first to protect you, because I never know who the person is I'm dealing with on the phone.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, there's a lot of good times where people are like, oh my God, I definitely want to reach out.
Right.
And when you rekindle a friendship, or a mother and a son get together who haven't spoken to each other,
that's got to be magical.
It is. That's where the good stuff happens.
Yeah.
So that's why you love it, and that makes me feel fantastic when that stuff happens. When I solve a case and it ends on a good note, I love it. I loved it. I love catching the bad guy back when I was a cop.
Yeah.
I love making a difference in people. I love just helping people, as silly as it sounds. I know it sounds really like cliche, but it's just true. That's why I do what I do. I actually like helping people. I like making a difference in people's lives.
I'm in the same boat. You're preaching to the choir. I just love it. I mean, that's like our core values being a wow experience. We just I want to see and people say they get better, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I always say, like, we have an office in the middle of, in Closter, right? Mm-hmm. In a Whole Foods Plaza. And people will walk into our office thinking it's something else. And we're like, well, let me find you whatever you're looking for. What, are you looking for a dry cleaner? You thought we were a dry cleaner? Let's find you a dry cleaner. I just love helping that people. Yeah. So.
As a matter of fact, on that note, a good segue, one of the things I'm actually trying to do, I'm in the process of doing, is I'm actually contemplating starting, not contemplating, I want to do it because I take that back. I'm in the process of getting in touch with attorneys. I want to start a nonprofit. And I want to do the nonprofit, basically what I'm doing now, investigative services, but for people who can't afford my services, because the fact is that call private eye anywhere in the Northeast, it's expensive.
It's not cheap. Yeah.
It's very expensive.
Well, there's a lot of resources you have to go through in order to, it's not cheap for you to do what you're doing. It's not all profit, like, I'm making 98% profit on this thing.
It's not at all, but it just winds up being very expensive in the end. And a lot of times people are paying for a lawyer and then to pay for a private investigator at the
on top
same
of
time,
that,
it's a big nut for people to pay.
Do they have to pay for your 7 millimeter
exactly
telephoto?
All my equipment, something breaks, I got to replace it.
Obviously. I got a question. What is the most unique case that you've done? All right, so we've got obviously cheating husbands and cheating wives. We've got the good ones of finding family members and friends. Anything crazy unique? Like, I can't believe you're hiring a private investigator for this, or wow, this is so cool. All right, maybe cool or unique.
Cool.
I'm putting him on the spot.
This is on the spot.
He has not been nervous this entire time.
I
just asked him that question. He's done. He's sweating. It's over. If he was under interrogation right now, he failed.
I would crack right now. I'm done. Oh, boy. Let me see. All right, what do we got? All right, well, I mean, some of them are sad, though. But I had a fortunately, I had a friend of mine. One of the first people who hired me was a friend of mine who was actually a client from when I was a detective, and we bonded, became friends. And then when I was a PI, she hired me to find her brother, who was homeless and semi-emotionally disturbed. And unfortunately, he committed suicide, and I found his remains. So not a great
You found the
story.
actual remains, not even the records of the fact that he...
I found his body at the morgue. I was
okay. Well,
I
I'd
didn't
say, like...
physically find. I tracked him down to the morgue and then gave them the information that he was in the morgue.
I have a hard time listening to you and not seeing TV. Like, I'm like, look at it, you're on TV. This all seems like it is so dry.
I mean, honestly, like a lot of stuff you see on TV is real, except I gotta be honest, anyone who watches Magnum PI, that show's full of shit. Don't watch it. It's entertaining, but none of it's real.
How about the original Magnum PI?
That was real. That was real. But they do one like they're hacking into everybody's computer.
Right.
She's hacking into a satellite.
Oh,
I see him. He's driving on the North Shore.
Oh, yeah. We're up to the second. He's going up over here. We're following him. They got cameras all over. They're tapping into the cameras, and they can follow him to the tape.
Thanks to Magnum PI. That's the funniest thing I get. I get phone calls all the time. That's the funny shit.
You're going to hack into a satellite system, right?
It's not the jobs I take. It's the ones I turn down.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's probably a better question. There you go. See, I'm still learning. I didn't even know that's the way to go.
The cases I tell them, I'm like, no, click. Those are the ones that are interesting. Like, I had a guy call me and says, all right, I want to hire you. I'm like, great. He's like, yeah, I think my wife is cheating. I'm like, okay, I could do that. He's like, okay, what I want to do is you're going to track her down. And then I'm going to go there and I'm going to bust the window because she was fooling around in a car allegedly. And I'm gonna bust the window and I'll crack the window open. Then you take pictures of them. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
He's got it all planned out.
And he goes, okay, you break the window and I'll take the pictures. No, I'm still not fucking doing that, bro. That's not happening. Excuse my language.
It's fun.
I'm a cop. I got a potty mouth.
Welcome to the big cast. New York cop, right? Come on.
I have a potty mouth.
It's got to be allowed.
Warning in advance.
That is hysterical.
But then I had another guy who was like, how much would it cost for you to break into my girlfriend's house and put cameras all over our place?
Oh, you're not allowed to do that?
I'm like, no, that's a felony. That's called burglary, actually. That's a crime.
How many different crimes? Let's see. Like, you put one in the bathroom, put one in the bedroom, catch her naked, catch her like, I think that's it.
I just don't feel, I don't like living my life. I want to go to jail for the rest of my life.
You look really good in orange. I bet you do. Orange or pinstripes, depending on where you're going.
Exactly.
Amazing. I told you it was going to go quick.
Yes.
3 minutes left. 4 minutes left.
Wow.
Is that unbelievable? Your stories were fantastic. I can't wait for this one to get out there. Let me tell you. But what do you want people to know? How could they find you?
Okay.
What is the best way?
The best way is you can get me through my website, which is copcallny.com, which is copcallnewyork.com. Or you just call me. My number is 917-833-6189. And mention that you saw me on this show, and you will get a nice little 10% discount off of all investigations.
Come on, we got another deal on the local BizCast, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
There are cheating husbands and wives out there right now going to get caught at a 10% discount. Let's go. Plus, we're going to find lost relatives. We're going to only have happy stories coming out of local
we need happy stories.
I want reviews coming back. We're going to bring Richard Kenny back in about a year and see all the positive stuff that's going on over there.
I would love to.
Dude, that was awesome.
Thank you. Awesome, my pleasure.
You must be the coolest guy going out, like hanging out at dinner, man. The stories that you must have, man. Let's do it. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, man, so cool. Our next guest is going to also be this cool, I promise you. Yep. It is going to be Sharon Genikoff or Genikoff. I'm so sorry, Sharon, but we're going to get to it next time, of Next Generation Consulting. She's going to be joining us next time on the Local BizCast, where you can find us YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, right here in Montvale, New Jersey, helping all the local business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, people just like Richard Kenny. I mean, it doesn't get more exciting than this. This is like a high-energy, fun activity. It was unbelievable. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please, Local BizCast, like, subscribe. What else can they do? I don't even know.
Call.
Come hang out.
Come and hang out. We're having fun. We're having a great time. Come on.
He's not leaving. We're going to stay here. We're going to do another one right after this. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you next time.